Hello and welcome to Empowering Wives Mentorship Program. I am your coach, Meltoria Woodside, and I want to extend a special invitation for you to join us. This is a mentorship just for wives, helping you to confront issues of rejection, shame, emotional wounds, and generational issues. Empowering you to maximize your full potential to achieve public and private success. Invest in your mental and emotional freedom that transforms and promotes personal growth, spiritual maturity, abundant living, and marital success. So go ahead and enroll at www.empoweringwiseacademy.com. Hello. Blessings. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are joining for the first time, I am Meltoria Woodside. I am glad that you are here today. Thank you for joining. So today I'm going to talk about how practical ways of dealing with a child from infidelity. And so I posted on my community a few weeks ago, probably just getting some feedback from my audience and asking what are some of the topics that they wanted to talk to me about. And so one topic was how practical ways to deal with a child from infidelity. Now, for those of you who joined me for the first time, I have two children as a result of my husband's infidelity. One of the children, who was the youngest of the two, I knew about him from the very beginning, from his mom was pregnant. The second one, I knew about him from he was 9 years old. Okay. And so most of the things that you're going to hear me talk about is from the child that I first knew about, who is the younger of the two. So when I found out that my husband was having this child, of course, I was devastated. Okay. Any of you who are experiencing this knows for a fact it's devastating. Okay. And so initially I said, I want nothing to do with this child. Don't bring it around me. I don't even want to see it. Okay. This was my initial sentiments, right? Because of the hurt, the pain that I was going through at that moment at time. Let me tell you something. For 9 months, I mentally prepared myself for when this child come, how am I going to react and what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. Okay. And for the entire time of her pregnancy, I was chill. Okay. I was good. But let me tell you something. When we got word that that child was born, I cried like a baby, as if this is the first time I am hearing about it. Like all that preparation that I've done for the 9 months meant absolutely nothing. One thing that you guys are going to realize, you cannot prepare for stuff. Okay? You can't prepare for when the child comes. You can't prepare you can't. Because when that moment comes, you're still going to be affected like you found it for the first time. And so, like I said, the first time I found out, I don't want nothing to do with this child. Don't bring it around me. Yeah. All that, stuff. How many of you said stuff that you don't do? Like me, I said, if my husband ever do that to me, I'll do this and do that and do that. And child, when that moment came, I did absolutely none of those things that I said I wouldn't do. Okay. But anyhow, as time progressed, the child is here. And, I was at a point where I made up in my mind that I was going to forgive my husband. And so I came to the conclusion that, shoot, if I'm going to forgive my husband, I got to forgive the other woman. And certainly I can't hold this against the child. So initially in the early stages of this child's life, me trying to be, stepmother of the year, I kept him for, some time, but during those early stages, no matter how great of a stepmom I was trying to be, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the look of this child. Every time I'm trying to care for him, I was a baby changing his diapers, and it was just hurtful. It was painful. And so I had to stop doing that. if you are in this position where you are dealing with this, you have to give yourself time. And I mean, yes, I mean, if you're not prepared to take care of the baby, then you just got to give yourself time. And why I did that is I kept telling myself, I don't want to mistreat this child, I don't want to abuse this child, I don't want to take my frustration on this child, so I just stayed away. And for me, I thought that was like the answer, like that would help me, like not being around this child, not dealing with this child, I would get better. Okay. Now, there came a time when my family and I moved to America. Let me tell you something. I thought that was it. I thought that was the answer. Out of sight, out of mind. But even in that time, I still started to, because I had that moment of dealing with him, caring for him, feeding him, and all that stuff. So that was, even though it was paining me in that moment, that still was a little bit of bonding. But it all came with a decision. Now, if you tell yourself you can't, then you ain't gonna be able to. But if you tell yourself you can, you will. And I know that society has listen here, society got our head burned, right? Because we ain't in this situation, we ain't in this position. We basing our decisions based on what we heard, what someone say, and what they've been going through, and we don't tell ourselves we ain't gonna do it. That's how we are programmed. But let me tell you something, you don't have to be that way. Make your own decision. And my decision was I was going to accept this child. After the fact, I forgave my husband. I figured, we're gonna move forward. It ain't make no sense having this wall up. Anyhow, back to the story. We moved to America. I was like, yeah, we gotta deal with this child no more. But even moving away, thousands of miles away, I still thought of him. What is he doing? How is he doing? Is he good? And all this stuff just go. And I'm trying to figure out, I must be crazy. Why with this child? And let me tell you something. It was difficult. All right. Now, in that gap of moving to America, there came, a few years later, he was older. He was 8 or 9, and his mommy said he wanted to come to live with his daddy. I don't know, right? Anywho, he came to live with us, and mind you, when his mother asked if he could live with us, my husband say, "Honey, what you want to do? If you don't want this, we ain't got to do this." But I'm trying to be great. And not only trying to be great. As I grew in my relationship with the Lord, my mindset was different. I wasn't thinking about, not including him in our family anymore because look here, he was here. Okay, he was here. And so now I began to change my mindset and way of thinking, how I was thinking about this child now, 8 years old. Let me tell you something. You remember that gap I talk about when I thought everything was good because out of sight, out of mind? Let me tell you something. When he came back after that period of time, all those feelings, all those emotions that had that gap, out of sight, out of mind, it wasn't out of sight, out of mind. Listen here, I was waiting for that moment. And so when he came, listen here, he came and he gave me a hug. And at that time, tears was coming around my eyes because I'm thinking, Lord, what I am going to do. Now, he was living here, going to school, all that good stuff. And even in interacting him, I keep on saying, Lord, help me because he looks so much like his mother. And at that time, I wasn't really healed from the mother situation. I was still at work. So I would look at him and he looks so much like his mom. But anyhow, I remember praying and asking the Lord because I was having difficulties accepting him in my home, even though I was caring for him, all that stuff. And when he gets sick, he come to me, and I'm like, And I remember asking the Lord why I can't accept the son. This why I can't accept him as mine. The Lord told me because I don't see him as mine. Okay, so over the years, right? Everything that I was trying not to face, I had to face. I had to face the fact that this is my husband's son. I had to face the fact that he's a result of infidelity. I had to face it. And in facing it, the things that I didn't want to do, I just did it. Right? Like shopping for him. Now I got a son his same age, so when I buy clothes, I gotta split it in two. And I be thinking, 4 shirts for him, 4 shirts for my son. This could have been 8 shirts for my son. But I started to those thoughts. I had to shut them down. I had to think, no, don't think like that. No, that's okay. He can get more. It could be all right. Yada yada yada. So I start all these thoughts. It was a battle in my mind. Your mind is a battlefield, and it looks like flesh against spirit, and it's always bombarding each other, and you are in the middle, and you got to decide if you go in flesh or if you go in spirit. And all those emotions that I had, all those thoughts that I had, eventually they went away. And so now he's here, and I don't look at him like he is my husband's son from infidelity. I look at it like he is my son. And I listen here, I never thought that I was going to get a place where I actually love this kid. I was like, you know what? He's my husband's son. I love him just as much as I love any kid who I don't know. But over time and dealing with him and communicating with him, sitting down, watching movies with him, having conversations, eating together, these moments and times, it helped me to get rid of all the feelings that I had and to really accept him. So if you're in a position where you're dealing with a child for infidelity, that away time is not going to help. You have to begin to interact, deal with the child, accept him. And let me tell you something, it ain't gonna be easy. That pain is gonna be there. But guess what? Time and time and time is gonna go away. I know a lot of people are like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this right now. Now, here is where I had regret. When he came to us for this second time, there was so much things that he didn't know, and he was behind in school and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I wish I would have been in his life from a baby, from that first time that I tried and I just gave up. I wish I had stuck it out so that I could be a part of nurturing him. Because let me tell you something, to try to change the habits of an older child, it ain't easy. Especially how I don't have those troubles with my kids. My children didn't have, school issues, and I got to deal with my stepson. It was hard, but I was able to get past that. So as I have grown over the years and dealing with the child from infidelity, if I would have advice, this is what it would be as much as you could, right? Because some of them other women, they ain't cooking with gas. So as much as you could do, because I know there are some people, I don't want my child around her and just that. You can't help that. Let that be. But if you are in a position where you are allowed to be in the child's life, by all means, do it. Buy toys, buy clothes, right? Interact, take the child out, go to, parks and all. That is what's going to help you to get over it. Not the distance, not staying away, not I don't want to deal with this, and that is not going to help. Now, one thing that was difficult, and many of you may have this challenge in your marriage, is you and your husband coming to terms on what we're going to do and what we ain't going to. And that was a major challenge for me because my husband and I, we sat and we decided, okay, we can do this, we can do that. This is how we can handle it. We ain't gonna do this and we ain't gonna do that. And my husband still turned around and did what he wanted to do. That was painful. But let me tell you something. This comes the power of prayer. When I realized that nothing was in my control, I just started praying. Father, I pray that you give him wisdom. Teach him how to handle me and this child. Teach him how to give him wisdom in handling, dealing with his family. Lord, let him put his family first. This is what he is supposed to do. I just keep praying like that. Lord, show him. Teach him. Let him know. And let me tell you something. One day, my husband came to me and he said, listen, this is what I could do. I'm bothering with the child. Whatever you want to do when you're ready, that's when we could do. To see what I want, but it's the bed I make up, I gotta lie in it. A couple that I went to my husband, I say, really? You sure? You serious? This how you? Because I didn't believe it. But then I realized, you know what we do? We be praying and asking the Lord for something, and then when we get it, we act crazy. You gotta stop that. Talking to me too. And so the thing that I was praying for and believing for, it manifested. It came to pass. And that was true up until that child, his mother called saying he wanted to come live with us. My husband, he wouldn't do nothing. If she called, my husband get the phone right to me, email, his money checked that. He would not do anything. But that came on prayer. And like I said, your husband may not get it right the first time. Y'all may not have agreement on the first time. You gotta pray. If you get frustrated, if you start thinking of yourself less than his wife and this how you treat me, just pray. You got to pray because at that point you need divine intervention. And so, yeah, like I said, one thing that I regret doing is that distance where I didn't want nothing to do with the child. When we went away, I was in contact, I didn't do anything. Right. So if you have that opportunity, take it. It will hurt. Absolutely. It gonna hurt Sunday. It gonna hurt a little bit Monday. It gonna hurt less Tuesday. Wednesday, it gonna hurt even less. Thursday, even less. Friday, oh, you barely feeling it. By Saturday, you in a good place. Okay, that's just how it's going to be. The more times you interact and you deal, you're going to get better and better. Now, how you and your husband are going to take care of this child, it's going to be up to y'all. Y'all have to say, okay, you know, you know. I don't know if to avoid child support, if you do get on child support, whatever the case may be, but just make sure you all have an agreement on how you gonna help the child, how often you gonna help the child, when you're gonna get the child, when you're not gonna get the child. Just if you have that opportunity, have that conversation. If you don't have that opportunity, then you gotta pray. Okay. I both had and didn't have that opportunity. So that came as a result of prayer. So, I know a lot of people saying, you can't, listen, man, that ain't no true. With God, with God, it is possible because one thing that I always probably gonna hear me say a lot of time is deliverance. Healing and deliverance helped me to get over a lot of the things, a lot of pain that I went through. And as I was healed, it just became easier and easier and easier. So I want to encourage you, even if you have already burned bridges, and say it's always time. As long as you have life in your body, it's always time to change things in the way you act. So I hope this helped you guys. Those of you who are dealing with a child from infidelity, I hope this helped you. I hope that you take the things that I have told you in this video and execute them. And trust me, it, like I said again, it's not going to be easy, but it's possible and you will get over it. Okay. Blessings, you guys. Thank you for joining.